Imagine this. A smug billionaire struts into a high-stakes meeting with Saudi investors, waving off the need for a translator because he thinks his charm alone will seal the deal. But when things go south, it's the unassuming black security guard standing in the corner who steps up, speaks flawless Arabic, and turns the entire negotiation around. What happens next exposes a web of prejudice, betrayal, and sweet, sweet justice. Stick around because this story of underestimation and triumph will have you cheering by the end. Our tale unfolds in the gleaming skyscrapers of downtown Manhattan, inside the opulent boardroom of Harrington Tech Industries. The air is thick with the scent of polished mahogany and fresh espresso, the kind that cost more per cup than most people's daily wage. Floor-to-ceiling windows offer a view of the bustling city below, a reminder of the empire Richard Harrington has built. Richard, the billionaire CEO, paces like a lion in his tailored suit, his silver hair slicked back, exuding that untouchable confidence only old money can buy. Translations? Huh, no translations needed, Richard barks to his team, his voice echoing off the glass walls. He's addressing Victoria Lang, his sharp-tongued executive VP, who's nodding vigorously, her designer blouse crisp and her eyes calculating. These Saudis will understand success when they see it. We're offering them the deal of a lifetime, tech that revolutionizes oil extraction. Who needs words when you've got PowerPoints? Victoria smirks, adjusting her notes. Absolutely, sir. Your presentation is bulletproof. We've got this. But her tone hides a flicker of doubt. She knows Richard's arrogance has tanked deals before. Standing silently by the door is Jamal Thompson, the security guard. At 6'2", with broad shoulders honed from military days, Jamal blends into the background in his standard-issue uniform, his dark skin and quiet demeanor making him invisible to men like Richard. But Jamal's eyes are sharp, taking in every detail. They never see me, he thinks, but I see them. All their games, all their slights. His mind drifts to his daughter, Aisha, back home with her grandmother, fighting that relentless illness. Every shift here is for her, every overlooked hello, every dismissive glance. The Saudi delegation arrives, led by Ahmed Al-Mansour, a dignified man in a traditional thobe, his beard neatly trimmed and his gaze piercing. Ahmed shakes hands firmly, but his entourage murmurs in Arabic, their expressions polite yet reserved. The room fills with the subtle aroma of oud incense from their attire, a cultural nod that Richard ignores. As the meeting kicks off, Richard launches into his pitch, slides flashing on the massive screen. "Gentlemen, this is the future," he declares, pointing at graphs of profits soaring like rockets. But Ahmed leans forward, interrupting in accented English. "Mr. Harrington, we appreciate the vision, but let's discuss the terms in detail. In Arabic, if you please. It's more precise for nuances." Richard freezes, his face flushing. "Arabic? Come on, we're all businessmen here. English is the language of deals." He laughs it off, but the room tenses. Victoria jumps in, fumbling with a hired translator app on her tablet, but it's glitchy, spitting out awkward phrases that make Ahmed's team exchange uneasy glances. Jamal watches from the corner, his heart pounding. He knows Arabic like the back of his hand, his mother's tongue, drilled into him during childhood stories of Moroccan markets and desert winds. I could fix this, he thinks, but they won't listen to a guard. Still, a spark of hope flickers. Maybe this is his chance to shine, to earn that bonus for Aisha's treatments. The conflict escalates quickly. Ahmed's voice rises, switching fully to Arabic, rapid-fire questions about contract clauses and ethical sourcing. Richard's team scrambles. Brad Kingsley, the sniveling assistant, whispers frantically into a phone, trying to patch in a remote translator, but the connection lags. "This is ridiculous," Richard mutters under his breath, shooting a glare at Victoria. "You said we were prepared." "I did, sir, but—" Victoria stammers, her composure cracking. She turns to Jamal, snapping her fingers like he's a servant. "You, guard, get us some water or something. Make yourself useful." Jamal clenches his jaw, pouring glasses with steady hands. Useful? If only they knew. As he serves, he overhears Ahmed's untranslated words, concerns about hidden fees, demands for transparency. The deal is crumbling, millions slipping away. In a moment of tension, Richard slams his fist on the table. "Enough! If you can't speak English, maybe this isn't the right partnership." The room goes silent. Ahmed's eyes narrow in offense. It's a low blow, laced with cultural insensitivity, and Jamal feels it like a punch. This man thinks he's above everyone, Jamal reflects, but pride like that always falls. Yet a small victory emerges. Maria Gonzalez, the HR manager sitting quietly in the back, catches Jamal's eye. She's seen the slights before, the way Richard and Victoria overlook diverse staff, promoting only those who fit their image. Maria nods subtly, mouthing, "Hang in there." It's a glimmer of alliance, reminding Jamal he's not alone. As the meeting teeters on collapse, Jamal's mind races. He's been gathering notes on his phone, recordings of past meetings where Richard's prejudices shone through, emails from Victoria belittling minority employees. Not yet, he thinks, but soon. They'll underestimate me one too many times. He straightens up, waiting for the turning point. Richard, desperate now, waves at Brad. "Call in a real translator, pay whatever it takes." But the clock is ticking, and Ahmed stands, signaling his team to leave. "We expected respect, Mr. Harrington. This is disappointing." That's when Jamal steps forward, his voice calm but firm. "Sir, if I may." Richard whirls, eyes blazing. "What could you possibly add? Guard, stay in your lane." But Ahmed pauses, intrigued by Jamal's poise. And in that charged moment, Jamal switches seamlessly to Arabic, addressing Ahmed directly. "Mr. Al-Mansour, allow me to clarify the terms. Harrington Tech guarantees no hidden fees, and we're committed to ethical practices." The room gasps. Richard's face twists in shock. Victoria's mouth drops open. How, they think. But Jamal continues, negotiating with precision, his words flowing like a river, drawing Ahmed back to the table. Little do they know, this is just the beginning. Jamal's hidden skills are about to unravel everything. The boardroom air thickens with stunned silence, broken only by the soft hum of the air conditioning and the distant honk of Manhattan traffic far below. Jamal stands tall, his security uniform suddenly seeming less like a barrier and more like a badge of hidden strength. Ahmed Al-Mansour's eyes light up with genuine surprise and respect, a warm smile breaking through his stern facade as he responds in Arabic. "Young man, your fluency is impressive. Tell me, how do you know our language so well?" Jamal nods modestly, keeping his voice steady. "My mother was Moroccan, sir. She taught me from a young age. Now, regarding the contract, Harrington Tech can adjust the profit sharing to 60-40 in your favor, ensuring mutual benefits." He glances at the documents on the table, his mind racing through the details he'd overheard in countless meetings, piecing them together like a puzzle only he could solve. Richard Harrington recovers from his shock, his face reddening like a storm cloud. "What the hell is this? You're a security guard, not a negotiator. Get back to your post." His words spit out laced with venom, but Ahmed holds up a hand, silencing him. "Mr. Harrington, this man is saving your deal. Let him speak." Victoria Lang leans in, her manicured nails digging into the table's edge, her perfume, a sharp floral scent, wafting aggressively. "This is absurd. Jamal, or whatever your name is, you're out of line. We have professionals for this." Her tone drips with condescension, but Jamal catches the flicker of fear in her eyes. She's threatened, he thinks, because I just did her job better than she ever could. The negotiation presses on, with Jamal bridging the gap effortlessly. He translates Richard's proposals into nuanced Arabic, adding clarifications that make Ahmed's team nod in agreement. Sensory details flood the room, the scratch of pens on paper, the clink of water glasses, and the growing warmth from the afternoon sun streaming through the windows. Small victories pile up. Ahmed laughs at Jamal's cultural references, a joke about desert hospitality that eases the tension. For the first time, Jamal feels seen, a spark of hope igniting for Aisha's future. But the villains aren't done. As the deal inches closer to closing, Richard pulls Victoria aside during a brief recess, their whispers harsh in the corner. "Who does he think he is? Some black guard thinking he can play in our league?" Richard hisses, his prejudice bubbling up like bile. Victoria nods, her eyes narrowing. "I'll handle it, sir. We can't let this undermine your authority." Back at the table, the conflict escalates. Ahmed proposes a final clause, environmental safeguards for the tech's implementation in Saudi fields. Jamal translates it perfectly, but Richard interrupts, barking in English. "Tell them it's non-negotiable. We're not bending to their whims." Jamal pauses, inner thoughts swirling. This is where he always fails, his ego over empathy. Instead of obeying blindly, Jamal softly suggests in Arabic to Ahmed, perhaps a compromise. Harrington Tech could fund a pilot program to prove sustainability. Ahmed agrees, impressed. The deal is sealed with handshakes, contracts signed in a flurry of ink and smiles. The room erupts in restrained applause from Ahmed's team, but Richard's face is a mask of forced grins. As the Saudis file out, Ahmed clasps Jamal's hand firmly. "You have a gift, my friend. If ever you seek new opportunities, call me." He slips Jamal a business card, the embossed gold catching the light, a tangible sign of hope. Yet tension mounts post-meeting. In the executive lounge, with its plush leather chairs and the faint aroma of cigar smoke lingering from past victories, Richard corners Jamal. "You think you're a hero now? That little stunt could have cost us everything." His breath is hot, laced with the scotch he's been sipping. Victoria chimes in, her voice icy. "Security guards don't negotiate, Jamal. Consider this your warning. Next time, you'll be out on the street." Jamal stands firm, his pulse steady. "I was just doing what needed to be done, sir. The deal closed, didn't it?" Inside, he's seething. They take the credit, but I'll take the truth. Maria Gonzalez, lingering nearby, overhears and slips Jamal a thumb drive later in the hallway. "I've got recordings," she whispers, her eyes fierce, "from HR files, emails where they mocked your background. Use it wisely." It's another alliance forged, a quiet strategy building like a storm on the horizon. The villains push further, their arrogance blinding them. That evening, in the dimly lit parking garage, the concrete echoing with footsteps, Brad Kingsley approaches Jamal with a smug grin. "Boss wants you gone, says you're uppity. Pack your things." But Jamal smiles inwardly, recording the encounter on his phone. Uppity, that's their word for capable. He thinks of Aisha, her small face lighting up during hospital visits, her dream of seeing Morocco one day. This fuels him. Days turn to weeks with escalating sabotage. Victoria assigns Jamal menial tasks, guarding empty lots at odd hours hoping to break him. Richard parades the deal's success in company newsletters, crediting himself and omitting Jamal's role entirely. At a staff meeting, filled with the buzz of fluorescent lights and the scent of stale donuts, Richard boasts, "I closed that Saudi deal single-handedly, no translations needed." Laughter ripples, but Jamal, stationed at the door, feels the sting. Single-handedly, we'll see about that. Jamal's silent strategy deepens. He reaches out to Elena Harrington, Richard's wife, whom he's guarded at events. In a quiet cafe, steam rising from coffee cups, Elena listens to his story. "Richard's lost his way," she admits, her voice trembling. "He wasn't always like this. I'll help expose him, for our family's sake." She provides insider documents, proof of Richard's biased hiring practices. The turning point arrives at the annual gala, a glittering affair in a ballroom dripping with crystal chandeliers and the melody of a live orchestra. Champagne flows, dresses shimmer, and Richard toasts his unmatched success on stage, spotlight hot on his face. Victoria stands beside him beaming, but Jamal, invited as security, has orchestrated the moment. As Richard brags about the Saudi deal, Ahmed Al-Mansour enters unexpectedly, invited by Jamal. "Mr. Harrington," Ahmed announces, his voice booming over the microphone, "let's set the record straight. It was your guard, Jamal, who closed the deal, not you." Gasps echo through the room, the scent of perfumes mixing with shock. Richard stammers. "That's not—" Jamal steps forward, evidence in hand, recordings, emails, witnesses. "It's time the truth came out," he says, his voice steady. The crowd murmurs, tension peaking as Victoria's face pales. But the full exposure is just beginning. Hang tight. This justice is about to hit hard. The ballroom's crystal chandeliers cast a kaleidoscope of light across the shocked faces of Manhattan's elite, the air heavy with the mingled scents of expensive cologne and floral centerpieces. Richard Harrington grips the podium, his knuckles white, as Ahmed Al-Mansour's words hang like a guillotine. "Jamal Thompson is the reason this deal succeeded," Ahmed continues, his voice resonant and commanding. "He spoke with honor, with knowledge. You, Mr. Harrington, dismissed him, and us." Jamal steps into the spotlight, the heat of it warming his skin like a long overdue embrace. In his hand, a tablet loaded with evidence. Emails from Victoria mocking his ghetto background, recordings of Richard's slurs in private meetings, and HR files from Maria showing a pattern of discrimination. "This is for Aisha," he thinks, "for every time they looked through me." He projects the first email onto the massive screen behind the stage, the words glaring in bold. "No need to promote the guard. He's not executive material." Gasps ripple through the crowd, a wave of murmurings building like thunder. Victoria lunges forward, her heels clicking sharply on the marble floor. "This is a setup. Fabricated lies." Her voice cracks with desperation, but Jamal plays the audio next. Richard's voice booming from the speakers. "Translations? From him? No way a black security guy knows Arabic. Probably learned it from some rap song." The room erupts. Elena Harrington, seated in the front row, stands slowly, her elegant gown rustling. "Richard, enough," she says, her tone laced with quiet fury. "I've seen the proof. This ends now." Tension peaks as board members whisper furiously, phones lighting up with texts. Brad Kinsley slinks toward the exit, his face pale, but security, irony of ironies, blocks him at Jamal's subtle nod. Richard's arrogance crumbles, his face twisting in rage. "You traitor! After all I've done for this company." He turns to Jamal, spitting words like venom. "You'll regret this, boy. I'll ruin you." But Ahmed interjects, his presence commanding. "No, Mr. Harrington. You'll face consequences. We've already contacted authorities. Your prejudices violated international business ethics." In a flurry of chaos, the exposure unfolds. Maria steps up, presenting witness statements from other employees, their voices trembling but strong in recorded testimonies. "He called me the help because of my accent," one says. The sensory overload hits. Flashes from photographers' cameras, the clatter of dropped champagne flutes, the bitter taste of justice in the air. Small signs of hope emerge, applause from a few allies in the crowd, a nod from Ahmed that says, "You've won." The villain's downfall is swift and humiliating. Richard stumbles off the stage, security escorting him out amid boos, his empire cracking. Victoria, tears streaking her makeup, is cornered by reporters. "Ms. Lang, care to comment on the discrimination allegations?" She flees, her career in tatters. Brad is fired on the spot, slinking away jobless. Legal consequences follow, lawsuits for workplace harassment, the Saudi deal renegotiated without Richard's involvement, his shares plummeting overnight. Jamal, amidst the whirlwind, feels a rush of emotional release. "They thought I was nothing," he reflects, "but I was everything they needed." Ahmed pulls him aside, the older man's hand firm on his shoulder. "Join my firm, Jamal. As a partner, your skills deserve better." It's the break he's dreamed of, a path to afford Aisha's treatments fully. Months later, in a sun-drenched office overlooking Riyadh's skyline, Jamal thrives. The air carries the spice of Arabic coffee, a far cry from Manhattan's cold steel. He's now a lead negotiator for Al Mansour Enterprises, his bilingual expertise closing deals across the globe. Aisha, healthier after advanced treatments, laughs in video calls, her eyes bright. "Daddy, tell me about the desert again," she says, her voice full of wonder. Jamal smiles, thinking of his mother's stories, the legacy continuing. Richard? He's a shadow of himself. Divorced by Elena, his company sold off in pieces. Tabloids splash his face with headlines, "Billionaires fall from grace." Victoria works a dead-end job, her snobbery reduced to bitter regrets. Brad fades into obscurity, a cautionary tale of blind loyalty. As for the moral of this story, never underestimate someone based on their appearance, job, or background. True worth shines through actions, not status. Kindness and respect open doors that arrogance slams shut. In a world quick to judge, be the one who sees the hidden potential in others. It might just change everything. If this tale of justice and triumph moved you, hit that like button, subscribe for more heart-pounding stories, and share with a friend who needs to hear it. What's your take on underdogs rising up? Drop a comment below. Until next time, remember, the quiet ones often roar the loudest.